We already set up our Layout tab in Tutorial 1, so let's go to Layout 3 and check it out. You should now see the drawing sitting in the middle of that piece of paper from earlier. If this is not the case, you may want to check your scale on the viewport and make sure that it's set to 1 inch equals 10 feet. You may also need to pan around in your viewport to make sure that it's at the correct spot in your model. When we pan in this sheet, we're moving around the drawing, but if you zoom in, you'll change the scale of your drawing. Make sure you don't inadvertently change the scale, and if you do, you can always adjust it at the bottom in the annotation scale. Simply double-click outside of the viewport and select it in paper space, and here you can change the annotation scale if you need to adjust it. For the sake of clarity, we'd like to turn off this grid. To do so, double-click on the viewport. At the bottom of your screen, uncheck the grid, and now double-click outside of the viewport. The viewport is actually a piece of geometry, and if you print it as this, it will create a border around your image. We want to get rid of that. To do so, we're going to go to the Layer Properties Manager, create a new layer, name your new layer Z-Viewport, change the color of that layer to 200, and in this tab that says Plot, make sure the Plot button is checked. This will prevent it from printing when you go to print out your paper. Close the window, select the viewport, and make sure that it's on that Z viewport layer. And now that purple line you see will not be printed when you make your doc. We need to load something called a CTB file. This is a color-dependent plotting file. You should be able to download it from our website. Once you've downloaded it, I'll show you how to load it into AutoCAD. At the top left, click on the A for AutoCAD. At the top left, click on the A, go to your Options menu. In this menu, click on Plot and Publish. Click on the Plot Style Table settings at the bottom of this window. In this menu, click on Add or Edit Plot Style Tables. This will open a new window, which is a folder with all of your information in it. From the download from our website, drag that file that you downloaded into this new window. Close the window, click OK, click Apply, click OK. To load the CTB file, we're going to type Page Setup, click on Modify. In this window, click on the Plot Style drop-down menu and go down to Line Weight STD. This is the file you downloaded from our website. Click OK. Click Close. The file we just loaded will tell AutoCAD to associate certain colors with certain line weights. So certain layers will have a color and they'll be thicker or thinner lines. We've given you several ranges of line weights. If you'd like to add additional line weights, please talk to your instructor about modifying the file for more line weights. We can preview what our drawing will look like before we plot it by typing Plot, Continue, and clicking on Preview in the bottom left-hand corner. This will open a PDF preview of what your drawing will look like when it's printed. You should be seeing gray line weights for the sidewalk, thick line weights for the buildings, and thinner line weights for the curb. You should see dashed lines for the center lines, and if something doesn't look right, we can change it. To exit the print preview, hit Escape. Close this window, and go back to Model Space. Let's say we want to make the buildings a thicker line weight based on our print preview. Change the color of the layer that object is on. For example, if we wanted the buildings to be an even darker color, we would change the color from blue to magenta. Click OK, go back into Layout 3, Plot, Continue, Preview, and we can see the buildings are now even darker in this version. By changing the color of the layer, we were able to modify the line weight.